What up, Panther Nation, Pantherologists? Welcome to yet another edition of Pantherology. Welcome to today's live stream. Welcome to Lunch Break with me. I know I haven't been putting lunch break in there. I just kind of felt like, it's Pantherology Live. It's lunch break with me, whatever the case may be. I'm on my lunch break from work right now. So just hanging out, bringing some content to you guys. Appreciate all the love and support. Appreciate everybody checking out the shorts and coming in and joining the live streams as well. Grim Reaper's in here saying keep pounding. Appreciate you, Grim Reaper. Love the RKO thing, by the way, brother. Love the RKO. Randy Orton's the man. Randy Orton is the man. I love Randy Orton. So, yeah, title, NFL analyst thinks that the Carolina Panthers can make a push. So we're going to do a little bit of a live reaction with that. Then we're going to talk about, I saw on Sports Illustrated, they did a little article about which Panthers are entering contract years in 2023. And we're going to talk about, guys that we should possibly extend and unrestricted free agents that we have, and kind of going to go over that and each one of those players as well, which they have a decent amount of lists. Before we get into today's live stream, please just do me a favor and just pound that like button. The more likes, the more views we get, and that helps out me and helps out grow the channel, helps out me continue to do this day in and day out. So I appreciate everybody that comes in and supports the channel. Appreciate everyone that comes in. All right. Other than that, let's get right into it.
Right. Viewed as a bit of a surprise team to make the playoffs, but who else? Who is your surprise team to make a playoff push in 2023 that I think maybe not necessarily was in the playoffs last year? So, Cam, who do you got?
All right, Grady, I need you to close your ears for this. I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers. And I know, Grady, you're going to have something to say about that 2 times a year. But this team, they don't have a typical number 1 overall pick roster. Remember, they made that jump in the trade to go get Bryce Young. And when you look at this team, I spent some time with them in camp. I think that defense is already ready to be a playoff team. The offense is the one thing we've been asking about. And last year, they made their push. If you remember, they fired their head coach, and Steve Wilkes took them and almost took them to the playoffs when they had Baker Mayfield and P.J. Walker and just a collection of Sam Darnold of quarterbacks. Now they have Bryce Young, and I'll tell you what, I know we were talking about rookie quarterbacks down there, but when I talk to people in Carolina, they say he does not act like a rookie. They said they're teaching him things that they teach quarterbacks in year 2, year 3. And look, he's small. I get all the jokes that are going to come out of him, but Thomas Brown, their offensive coordinator, said when you say hike, this dude is special. His ability to feel pressure within the pocket, his accuracy, the way he's already taking hold of a locker room. I was down there, and Brian Burns said he's got this humble.
Okay, so he thinks that already that this team not even just the team. We'll get more into it, but it surprises me that he thinks that we're already a playoff team. Is it possible? Sure. All right. And then, of course, he's talking about the Bryce Young, size. We've heard the size issues. We've heard all that. But then you just heard him say that he's teaching that he's learning like he's in his second year. That already tells you that his football IQ is just absolutely tremendous. And I've gone over that multiple times about Bryce Young and his football IQ, it's true. You go and look at his draft report coming out and all that stuff. His IQ is absolutely unbelievable. But the size issue has been coming on since we drafted him. All right. I mean, it's like saying the same freaking joke or fat joke over and over again. It just gets old after
swag, but he also knows he's the stuff. Yep. I'll say that. And I think this team is going to be a lot better than expected. If you want a fantasy nugget, draft Miles Sanders. I think that he is going to be a player that has a huge role on this team. Thomas Brown told me they want to get him back to how he was used in Philadelphia as a rookie when he caught 50-plus passes. He wasn't used like that recently, and so they'll lean on Miles Sanders. They'll lean on the offensive line. They think that is better than a lot of people think. And maybe there's some fun battles, starting week 1 with your Falcons, and you see, can you collapse the pocket on Bryce Young? Can he get the feel out against that new look defense? I think this Panthers-Falcons battle is going to be fun to watch this year.
Is a smaller quarterback a strength or a weakness for a team?
I don't know if either, because I'm a quote unquote smaller defensive tackle, you know what I'm saying? So I think the man was drafted number 1 for a reason, and I think we all gonna find out. I mean, a while over time, and so you got to give him his due credit till prove it otherwise. So it is what it is. Got to prepare for him.
Who else is going to prove us wrong this year?
I'm gonna go with the Browns. I think the Browns are going to have a good bounce back season. They got a really good team, like on paper. When we play.
So interesting. I mean, so just based off of that, let's roll through everything, okay? What Cameron Wolf was saying. All right. I'm surprised that he even said that we could be a playoff team. To me, when he says that, I'm thinking, really? Like, do you truly believe that? And I truly believe we can make a playoff push. I did predict us to win 10 games, okay? But for an NFL analyst to say that I don't know if Cameron Wolf played in the NFL. I don't really know him that well as a reporter or an analyst, so I don't know. And then it's kind of cool to see Grady Jarrett right there, just saying, I mean, I'm a smaller defensive end, but I've made it. He's made a great career so far, and he's made it work. And so, why can't Bryce? But until proven otherwise, like you said. And I think 100. Yeah, I mean, is it possible? 100%, right? We have a new head coach. We have a new, offensive coordinator and a rookie quarterback. And then last year we were. Think about it. We were 1 game away from winning the NFC South. And especially with the roster that is not, in my opinion, not as nearly as talented as we are now. And, it was definitely interesting to hear him, say, he says he spent some time with there at camp, in our camp and stuff like that. And, that has been the thing, though, that he did say that the offense is something we've been asking about. Let's see if they continue to say any more.
Played them last year, really tough, really good offensive line. And with Deshaun having another year with them, and he's a heck of a talent. And I think they're gonna get there and get back to get to the playoffs. And I believe that Deshaun does some good things.
Ooh, so the Browns get to the playoffs. What team in the AFC doesn't get in then? Is it the Jets? It's the Dolphins, the Steelers. I
don't think you guys for the surprise team. Yeah. I think they got a chance.
I like you. Yeah. I am too. I think that division is unbelievably good, and that's going to be.
Where do you see the Steelers next year?
Well, I'm a Steelers fan, so let's not go there. Right now, I'd say that they're 17-0 and they're winning it all, and I'm tired of not having championships. We're used to winning championships, people in Pittsburgh, right? I love Mike Tomlin, but 50, above 500 is not quite good enough anymore. Everybody, right? Sorry, I digress. I'm all over the Atlanta Falcons.
Look at him endearing himself to you over there.
Hey, I did this a couple weeks ago. I have you guys winning double-digit games. I like Arthur Smith. I love his mentality. I love how they've stacked the talent on the offensive side to help the young quarterback in Desmond Ridder. He does not turn the football over. The defense is improving. They've gotten better. They need to get the ball back to this team and let them have as many chances on the offensive side of the football to score. So I think, and if you look at the schedule, it's very opportunistic for this football team. I have them going 10-7, being the number 6
Grim Reaper,
seed.
That's sick. That RKO, you carved out.
I'm excited for them. I'm excited for you to get back to the playoffs. And I expect everybody out there talking a little trash about the NFC South. Not so fast, my friend. The Saints and the Falcons are coming for you, everybody. Watch out.
I really like that pick.
I lived in Denver for 3 years and is probably a year. But here's what Sean Hackett knew.
You're going to have to win double-digit games to be a 7-10 playoffs in the AFC. Period. They have a roster to come and win.
It was once loaded, right?
All right. So, anyways, so based off of what my understanding from Cameron Wolf, though, he was saying that basically, though, that we got Bryce Young, and then he says he spent time with camp. He thinks our defense is ready to be a playoff team, which I think is true, as long as our corners stay healthy. So as long as D-Jack and Horn stay healthy and they perform, 13 to 15 games and healthy, then yes, I think that our defense is definitely playoff ready. I truly believe that Frankie Louvu should have been a Pro Bowler last year. And so with him and then Shaq and then, of course, Brian Burns, sure. I think the biggest, Andrew Jacobs, that's the biggest question. Can our defensive backs room stay healthy? Correct. That's been the biggest question for me. Can D-Jack and Horn play a full season, or even, play 13 games like Horn did last year? 13 games, can he do that again? Can he play? I'd like to see 15. But I think Frankie Louvu should have been a Pro Bowler last year. Like I've already said, you got Brian Burns, who's going to step up on the outside also to help bring in that pressure. The thing is now the change of style of the defensive scheme for us with Evero, for me, is that can we stop the run a little bit better than last year? Because we were not very good at stopping the run last year. Okay, we weren't. Okay, we were not very good at stopping the run, and Brian Burns has not been the best at stopping the run. So, let me get in the comments, and I'll continue talking. I want to interact with you guys a little bit more. I mean, if they both played all last year, we would have been in the playoffs. Henderson is burnt toast out there. Yeah. Burnt toast Henderson is his name. But yeah, I mean, his comments aren't wrong though. You look at the talent that we had last year offensively compared to what we have this year. We fired our head coach last year. We let Steve Wilkes take over. Almost took us to the playoffs. We had Baker Mayfield, got rid of him. We had PJ Walker, Sam Darnold, all these guys stepped in. Now we have Bryce. And when you're talking about, and he's right, when you're talking about rookie quarterbacks, especially down there, they're 100% right. We've seen it. We've heard it. We've heard him talk. We've seen him play. We've seen him in camp. And I understand that this is just camp. But for them to say that they're teaching him like he's in a year 2, year 3, it tells me that Bryce Young's football IQ is unmatched. All right. Yes, he's small. We've heard, and he's right. We've heard all the jokes about his size when he was coming out. But for an offensive coordinator like Thomas Brown to say that this guy is a special dude, and then other people to say that, not just our offensive coordinator and our coaching staff, but people outside of Carolina to say that has to mean something. He hasn't the most accurate ball I've seen in this draft, in my opinion. How he's already taken the lead in the locker room with this team tells me enough as well. And I think we're definitely going to be a lot better than a lot of people expect. I don't think a lot of people have expected us to be anywhere much better than we were last year, but we have one of the best coaching staffs in the NFL. If you go back and look at the blueprint, people were saying that coach, look at that coaching staff. It's unbelievable how we were able to bring all these guys together. And that tells you a lot about Frank Reich. People want to work with Frank Reich. People think that he's actually a good head coach. And I think Frank Reich is a very good head coach. I don't think he got a lot of credit there in Indianapolis. So in my opinion, I do think we will surprise a lot of people. I think he's also right. Miles Sanders is going to be a key in our offense this year because Deontay Foreman and Chuba last year had to step up for us to even make that playoff push because of our quarterback situation. Not saying that Bryce Young is going to do as bad as Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold or PJ Walker. I just think that, yes, he is a rookie. He is going to make rookie mistakes. That comes with being a rookie in the NFL. We've seen it. It happens. And that's how it is. He's going to learn, but he's learning quickly, which is good. But in the meantime, we also have to think about that our offensive line was finished top 10 last year. And we're bringing everybody back except Austin Corbett, who's not going to start right away, obviously due to his injury last year. But that doesn't mean that Cade Mays, who I think is going to be one of the guys that could break out and step up this year, can take over that right guard spot until Corbett gets back and is fully healthy and ready to go. All right. So that's also something we got to think about. All right. So there's a lot of unknowns on this team, right? Not just defensively, but offensively as well. But we finally have built, I think, the offense that we've been wanting and waiting for, because in the NFL now, it really doesn't matter how good your defense don't win championships anymore. This is a pass catching league. Offense wins championships now. We've seen it with Kansas City. You've seen it with the Eagles. Now, the Eagles is a different story because they do have a great defense. When you have both and you're beating people inside the trenches, you're going to win a lot of football games. It's the same thing with San Francisco. They're going to win a lot of football games, even with average at best quarterbacks, because Shanahan's that good of a coach as well, though. But they're able to put points on the board because of the weapons that they have put around their quarterbacks. That's the same reason why Jalen Hurts took such a big leap, because I think Steichen is that good of a coach. I think actually this year the Eagles will probably take a step back due to the fact that they lost him. So obviously we'll see in due time, but we are a versatile team, and there were a lot of unknowns on both sides of the ball. There's no telling what can happen with this team, and that's why I posted up a short with the ceiling. What's the floor? What's the ceiling for this team? Most sports books right now are predicting that we win 7.5 games. All right. So really our floor is 6 games, but our ceiling is definitely 10 games. All right. I think our ceiling is definitely 10 games. And I've predicted us to win 10 games based off of our schedule, because we have the 11th easiest schedule. It might even be lower than that. We might even have one of the top 10 easiest schedules this year. But for that analyst to say that he thinks that Atlanta is going to be a surprise team, a lot of people are predicting Atlanta to win our division and break out and become a playoff team. I don't know what they're seeing down there in Atlanta with Desmond Ridder, but I don't see it. Just because you brought in Bijan Robinson and you brought in an old Calais Campbell, I just don't. And what they added, I don't see it. I really don't. I could be wrong. Trust me. I'm a YouTuber. Okay, I'm a YouTuber. I give you my opinion, my amateur analysis, what I'm seeing, what I'm reading, what I'm hearing, that's it. So either I'm going to be wearing a big red nose and a white painted face, and I'm going to be putting on my clown face, or I'm going to be right. And I hope I am right. So I hope Cameron Wolf is right as well. I hope that we make this playoff push. I hope that Miles Sanders steps up and does what he did last year. And I hope that Bryce Young pans out the way that everybody is seeing and hearing. All right. But we're definitely way more talented than we were last year. And I think defensively, he's right. This defense is definitely playoff ready. I think if it was on any other team, they would be playoff ready too. So it just the only thing is defensively is can our DB stay healthy, and that's D-Jack and Horn. But we need to bring. I really do think we need to bring in another corner for some depth. Like I was saying, Marcus Peters, like I was talking about the other day, and bring in another guy like Jadeveon Clowney for the other outside, or somebody like that. I know I said Nyakwe, but his contract, how much money he's wanting, it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be within our wheelhouse. But there is guys out there that are still waiting to get signed. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins, I don't really care to have him. What does he bring a lot to the table? Absolutely. But is that a need for our team? I don't think so. I don't think I think our wide receiver room has way too much depth. So I think we'll be fine in that. But I think that if we could bring in a guy like Marcus Peters or Clowney, who I think would sign for the money that we have left over right now, I think that things could definitely would definitely benefit us in the long run. But I rest my case on that. I appreciate everyone joining the live stream, everyone getting in the chat. I love it. I love seeing the comments. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to get in the comment section. Shoot me any questions, or shoot me any comments that you want to hear or say. We will surprise the NFL, at least be competitive for years to come. I think so. I truly do. But we're going to go over some of these contracts that we are going to have to definitely look into. Sports Illustrated came out with a article talking about contracts that we have we're entering into 2023. So we're going to have to see which guys that we would have to re-sign next year or add on to. Another thing is we got to be on the lookout for too is Brian Burns, extending him and getting him another contract, which I think he's going to get a bag, and he deserves it. So I think Brian Burns will definitely get a contract here soon. I actually predicted him to get a contract before training camp, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I haven't seen or heard anything yet. Clowney would be fire. I think Clowney would definitely be great on the other side of Brian Burns. I think Clowney would also fit the scheme of this defense because he's played in a style of that defense before. So I think he would fit perfectly for us. He might not be putting up the big numbers because he's only had like 14 sacks in the past 4 seasons, which isn't a lot. I mean, that's only like 4 sacks a season, but those extra 4 sacks could go a long way on the other side of Brian Burns, which Clowney honestly could just be a disruptor and let Brian Burns do the rest. The thing is defensively, we need to be able to stop the run better this year. Hopefully this new style of defense will do so. And hopefully it will fit to Brian Burns, Luvu, Shaq, and Derek Brown, those guys, Chen as well. Chen's going to be moving around the field in different places between safety and linebacker. And then you'll probably even see him in corner a couple times as well. So maybe that's the reason why they haven't signed another guy like pass rusher. Maybe that's the reason why they haven't signed another corner, because they think that they can just move Chin around enough to fill in those gaps. I don't know. I just don't think that that's going to really pan out as well if we had more depth. So, but I rest my case on that. Do you play fantasy leagues? Yes, I am playing in a fantasy football league this year. We haven't started it yet. I mean, obviously we haven't drafted or anything yet. I've been doing some fantasy football mock drafts lately. I've been in, doing some research on that and stuff like that. I love listening to the Fantasy Footballers podcast. So I don't know if any of y'all have ever checked them out, but you should. Or Fantasy Pros is a good one. I kind of feel like with fantasy football, you get lucky, right? I think fantasy football is very lucky. There's definitely a strategy to it or a science to it. I just haven't figured that out yet. But I have done well in fantasy football. I haven't won any leagues for the time that I've played, but I have made the playoffs every year. I'm like Mike Tomlin. I'm above 500 every year. And then I make it to the playoffs, and either I get bumped in the first round or the semis. I've even made it to the finals 2 years and lost. So it is what it is. Fantasy is just a bunch of at the end of the day, it's luck. It's luck. That's what I've come down to. So, all right, let's get into this. Let's get into these free agency, or not free agency, but these contracts. So from this article at Sports Illustrated, they were talking about players that are entering their contract free agency. So we've got these unrestricted free agents: Damiere Byrd, you got DJ Chark, Laviska, Justin McCray, Henry Anderson, Deshaun Williams, Brian Burns, YGM, Camus, Gruger Hill. Bash me if you want to in the comments. I still can't pronounce YGM's name. Yetter Gross Matos. I'm kind of sounding like I'm trying to speak Spanish, but I don't even know if I pronounced that correctly. You got Marquise Haynes, Frankie Louvu, Jeremy Chin, CJ, Sam Franklin, Eric Rowe, Jansen, Richie Sullivan, John Pensini, or I can't pronounce his last name either. It's probably like Italian or something. Raheem Blackshear, Leonard Coleman, Derek Wright, Cobe Jones, and Chandler Wooten. So we've got some guys on here. So we'll start from the top. Damiere Byrd, I doubt we'll re-sign him. I doubt that. It depends on, obviously, it just depends on how he does. The guys that I'm looking at least from this standpoint, so offensively, depends on how DJ Chark does. I mean, if DJ Chark can step up and be like the DJ Chark that we saw down in Jacksonville the first couple of seasons, we can make it, a case. Now, contracts either go a couple ways. All right. Players can go all out, right, in terms of playing well and then earn themselves a nice payday. Or the pressure or the stress levels just are too much for them, and they just fall short just because of the expectations that they're given. All right, and then we have obviously we have a large inventory of players. Obviously, as you can see, to become free agents. Now, a lot of these guys are going to give the opportunity to get their case to say, hey, you should re-sign me. right? And I think that guys like Chark, Laviska are going to be two guys that are going to be playing to prove that they still belong here. I think Brian, well, I don't even know what, we're not even going to talk about Brian Burns because he's going to get paid. He's going to get a bag. His contract's going to come up. That's neither here nor there. YGM, I think, is another guy that's playing this year to prove that he wasn't a waste of a second-round pick. I think Marquise Haynes is out to prove that he can be a reliable source on this team. He'll probably, if he does play well, he probably won't be a starter, but he'll still be a rotational piece, but a good rotational piece if he pans out to step up this year. And he's one of the guys that I'm hoping really does step up because he did do pretty well last year. He did better last year than he has in the past years. Frankie Luvu should have been a Pro Bowler last year. I could see him getting, re-signed. Jeremy Chin, I think it will definitely get re-signed. CJ Henderson, this is a year for him to prove that he deserves, a nice payday. And deserves to prove us wrong that we should have picked up his 5th-year option. So, I would say he has something to prove. Eric Rowe just got here. Sam Franklin, I don't know. JJ Jansen, he's been with us for years. So, and then these other guys, I mean, most of these guys are other guys are going to be on the practice squad. So, other than that, I mean, you look at this team. The only person I'm surprised that doesn't have a deal done yet really is Brian Burns. Like I said, I figured something would have already happened, but I predict that he'll get a contract before the end, before training camp. I did predict that, so we'll see if that actually happens. I'm willing to bet $100 that his contract will put him as one of the highest paid defensive players in the league. I have no doubt in my mind that Carolina wants him here for years to come. So I could see that number being astronomical. And then, like I was saying with Frankie Luvu, I think he won't be getting paid like Brian Burns, but he will get some money. I think he's a hell of a good player, and I think he should have made the Pro Bowl last year, like I said, so I think he'll get signed. I think DJ Chark is looking to get paid, but he's going to have to prove that he can stay healthy, but also can step up and be like his old self. And then, of course, the most versatile player in the NFL, or I think is going to be the most versatile defender in the NFL, which is Jeremy Chin, who I think he's going to get a bag as well. But the Panthers have a lot of a lot of depth, especially in the wide receiver position. There's not a really clear window on Bryce Young, but the thing is with Chark, the only thing is with Chark is that we know that in the past he's been a very explosive playmaker, especially when he's healthy. So if he can stay on the field and produce, then I could assume that he gets paid. And but Laviska is gonna have to do the same thing as well. So out of those contracts and out of those guys, I see Chin, Luvu, and Burns definitely getting paid. But possibly Chark. It just depends if he, can prove to be his old self all over again. So thought that was I thought that was a pretty interesting, reading on that and just looking at the contracts. But, YGM, Marquise Haynes, and CJ are definitely going to be guys that have to, prove that they deserve the bag for sure. Definitely deserved it, that they deserve the bag. So that's all I got for today, guys. I appreciate you joining the live stream. Gonna be here same time, same place tomorrow. Please come in and join the live stream. Gonna have some shorts coming out to you guys. Some more shorts coming out to you guys. Been making some creative content for players. Like I made some cool shorts for Bryce. I made a cool short for Jeremy Chin, Brian Burns, JC Horn. I also did like a tribute video, like short tribute video to Julius Peppers for getting in the Hall of Honor. I'm going to do one for Mushi Muhammad. I'm going to do another one. Probably I want to do one for Derek Brown. So I'll probably do one for him. Who's another guy I'll probably do? Maybe I'll try to find. The problem is there's not any for Miles Sanders in a Panthers uniform, so I can't do one of him yet. So I was going to do one of him, but I don't want to use the Eagles uniform. So, but I have some other shorts coming out with some opinions and stuff like that. So be on the lookout for those. But I'll be here live, same time, same place tomorrow. Appreciate everyone joining in. Make sure you pound the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on any new content. Always feel free to get in the comment sections when you come in here, guys. You can ask questions, shoot me your thoughts, your comments, like everybody else has in here today. Appreciate that. Everything, all the support goes a long way, so I appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, I'm hopping off. Appreciate all y'all. And as always, keep pounding. Peace.